Okay, so I think there are four really good uses for Remine. The first one is super basic. We should all be doing this every single week because we're all hosting open houses every single week as part of our lead gen model at Place, and that is circle prospecting. Who has used Remind for circle prospecting before?
I use land voice or circle prospecting. Is that backwards? Should I not be doing that?
Guys, you can't do it wrong here. So let's just erase that thought that it's possible to do it wrong because it's not.
Is
So no.
it better improved to use Remine?
Okay, my understanding is that Remine and I'm trying to share my screen here and I'm getting a weird situation. So I'm gonna give you guys my whole desktop and if something weird happens, just like, save your judgment for when we're not on this call. Can you see my desktop here? Remine?
Yes.
Okay, love it. Okay, so my understanding is that Land Voice and Remine pull from different databases. And so sometimes you'll go into Land Voice because you're looking for a phone number and there won't be one, and you'll go into Remine and put in the same address and you'll find one. Has anyone had that happen? This is where you shake your head or like, okay, thank you. Okay. Um, So you can use one or the other or both. And if you're real good with the spreadsheets, which I would guess a couple of you guys on here are real good at the spreadsheets, you could pull the same circle from both tools and have your spreadsheet mush and combine data. Okay, we use Mojo for dialing from both of these because Mojo does a pretty good job of filtering that for us, and then we don't have to be spreadsheet wizards. But I know some people can spreadsheet wizard it, and that might be a really cool thing you can get the AIs to do for you. Hey, dude, I have two spreadsheets. Can you combine these, remove duplicate data, and then output me one spreadsheet with no duplicates, right? Combine files, blah, blah, blah. Um, I know some states don't let you do the Mojo triple line. You guys are in Texas. Is that one of those states where you can't do that? Or are you all good down there? You're all good. Okay, love it. So if I was gonna go do circle prospecting, this is where I would start. I would remove all my little filters. Hold on. It looks like I was doing something. Clear all filters. Okay. And I would go to, if I'm being so basic and you guys are like, I already know how to do this, please stop talking about that. Please let me know. Okay. So let's say I'm like, hey, I want to circle prospect this neighborhood. I would do, let's draw a square because that's nice. And I would come in here and how many houses are we supposed to circle prospect for our open houses? What's the number?
150? Maybe? Sure.
That or
No?
question mark? I think it is 150. It's somewhere between 150. Okay, so I'm gonna put 100 and 150. I'm gonna pull this and I'm gonna be like, dang, dude, that's too many. I am not gonna call 696 people. I sure could, but I'm not going to. So maybe I'm gonna shrink my little square down. Okay. And then once I have it to the size that I want, I'm simply gonna add it to my cart. Okay. I'll go select all, I'll add them to my cart. I can now download this. I'm gonna get a spreadsheet that looks like this. Okay. And you're going to be like, ew, I don't need all that. You might check some boxes when you're exporting it and be like, okay, I want this and this and this. But for me, I let Mojo do the filtering because Mojo's pretty good at that. And then I don't have to think too much. I think the less I can think and the more I can do, I'm better off. Okay, so for circle prospecting, this is exactly what I would do. The nice thing is, I might get some homes that are for sale in here now that Remine's connected to our MLS. And this might be another opportunity for me to be like, oh, hey, I'm hosting an open house in the neighborhood. Just wanted to invite you over. Your house is open too. Is your agent hosting opens? Hey, just throwing this out there. I host every week. If your agent isn't hosting and you want someone to host for you, here's my number. Call me. I'm happy to host anytime. Okay. So if you're having trouble finding open houses, you can be circle prospecting and maybe find your additional open houses because now we know which of these homes are also on the market. Okay. Has anyone used Remine like this for circle prospecting?
No, but that's a great idea for the open houses.
Yeah, for sure. Use it for circle prospecting open houses. Do this every single week. It's really fast. Um, And when you mojo, I always just drop a voicemail that's like, hey dudes, my name's Amy. I'm a local real estate agent. I'm hosting an open house in your neighborhood this weekend. Just wanted to invite you out. Give me a call back for the details. That's it. Right? And people call you back. If you give them all the details on there, they probably don't listen. Right? But if you're like, give me a call back, I'll give you the details. That's it. And you can pre-record that and drop that voicemail. We can get through three of them at a time to call 150 people. If you get a few pickups on your circle prospect, is probably less than an hour of your time. Okay? On the Mojo, on the triple line dialer. Okay, so that's number one, circle prospecting. The second way that I think Mojo is really useful and a great tool is for off-market buyers. Okay, so let's say you have a set of buyers who are like, I really want to live in Taylor's Falls. And you can look at this and you can see, okay, you know what? There's only, what do we got? One, two, three, four, five houses that are actively on the market. Okay. So for me, that would be one day of showings. I've now shown these buyers every home that's possibly available to them. And now these buyers are going to be what? Discouraged. And now they're going to be competing when new listings come on because everyone else who wants to live in this area has probably also seen those five homes. So I can now take this and I can run some of these filters in here. So if I was trying to figure out who in this square is likely to sell, I might think about, okay, who's been here for a long time? Okay, because people who've been here for a long time might move. So I'd be like, okay, of this list, who's been here for 10 or more years? And then I can see, okay, I'm down from my almost 700 results to 250 results. Okay, now I want to call these people. And actually, this is kind of verifying our theory there of like, hey, dude, these people owned it for 10 or more years and they're actually on the market or have a pending sale. Okay, so we know if you've lived here a long time, probably you're getting toward a downsize. The other thing we know, and this will be neighborhood specific, right? But I know in this area, a lot of these houses are these teeny, teeny, tiny little old gross cottages, okay? And a lot of people buy those as starter homes. So I might take it the other way and I might be like, actually, who's lived in one of these houses for 2 to 5 years? Because I think people get into home ownership in one of these houses and then they're going to live there for a couple of years and now they're going to want to get a bigger house. Okay, so that might be another way that I cut up the list. That's going to be definitely depending on your market and the segment that you're looking at, and we're going to get a different chunk of the list. Okay, so that's ownership time's a good filter for that. Property value or home equity could be another thing that you would want to look at, especially if you're looking for buyers. I got too many dang filters going here. Please pause while I get rid of some. Also, our beautiful faces are in the way. Okay, so I'm gonna go clear all filters. Okay, so the next thing I might say is like, okay, someone might be willing to move if they have more than, I don't know, 10% equity, 25% equity, right? If they're in here, are they moving? Probably not. But if they're in here or here or here, maybe they like their low payment and sitting on that equity, but maybe they're like, actually, I'd like to deploy that into a bigger home and I just haven't thought about it. So now I can call them and I can say, hey there, you don't know me. I'm a local real estate agent. I'm working with some buyers. You know, we've seen every home that's available on the market. So I'm just calling around you and your neighbors to see if you know anyone who has mentioned thinking about selling. Not everybody loves being on the market. It's a pain. You got people through your house. I got some hot, ready buyers. If you know someone, you know, maybe we could put something together off market and you guys don't have to deal with having strangers in your house. Has anyone ever made that phone call? How did Emma, can you talk to us? Because I know you're really good at this. How does it go when you call people and do that?
Um, I get like a 5% contact rate. I don't know if you can hear me. It's on my Bluetooth.
Yeah, we got you. You sound great.
And some people are super friendly. Other people are like, nope, absolutely not. Or I don't own that property anymore. I don't know. Nobody's ever like been real mad at me or anything, but
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's our expectation. Like if someone called you up and was like, "Hey, dude, you want to sell your house?" Chances are good you're going to be like, "No," right? But like I mean, if someone called me up for the right price, I probably would sell my house, right? And I think some people are certainly like that. And I think you never know when you get someone on the right day. Okay, so I think it's super important to make that call. The other question that I think is great to ask because neighbors are nosy and we know this. Hey, have you noticed any dumpsters out in the neighborhood lately? Does anyone have a dumpster in their driveway? That's a really good question because what happens after people get dumpsters in their driveway?
They move. They're selling.
The homes get listed. Okay, maybe small chance it's a remodel, but most of the time, what is it? We're doing house purge and we're going on the market. So that's a really, really great question. Another place I would go here, and I would use this one to look for, okay, so just to recap, circle prospecting, yes, absolutely. Finding a specific property for off-market buyers, absolutely. The next one is sellers, just like we're looking for listings, okay? And when I'm using this tool to look for off-market properties for off-market buyers, I'm also, of course, always open to someone being like, well, I'd like to sell my house, right? And maybe it's not right for those buyers, but now I can come. Maybe I can bring a buyer. Maybe I can list the home. Maybe I can bring in an investor. Maybe I can help them refi, right? So all I'm looking for is a relationship building opportunity here um, when I'm calling these people. But so if I'm going to go look for sellers, did I get all my filters cleared out here? I did. Um, I might also look at sell score and occupancy status. So sell score is totally an algorithm thing. I have no clue how it works. But when I'm in the MLS, our MLS gives it's called real AVM. It's like the MLS's guesstimate of what the home is worth. And it also calculates a sell score off of this real AVM. I don't use this for pricing, but I use it as something that I pay attention to and file away in my brain. So then when I'm going on a listing appointment, did that home before I put anything in the MLS have a high sell score, a medium sell score, or a low sell score? Because it tells me if I should trust my MLS's algorithm in that category. Okay. It's not anything I'm gonna like go to the bank on. And that's how I would take it in here because I'm sure you guys have all taken a listing that had a low sell score. Yeah. Or you're not paying attention to it. Great. Thanks for the participation, guys. Let's go. I need a little more. Okay, so I'm gonna run this filter, and now my thing goes from 700 to 138. Can I call all 138 of these people today? I could if I wanted to get after it. And what might I find in here? Here's a high sell score. Here's a medium sell score. What might I find in here if I call these people?
Hopefully some sellers.
Hopefully some hopefully some sellers, right? Absolutely. And or maybe just someone that I can talk to again. So when I'm calling people on these lists, we put them in the mojo. Anyone that has like a polite conversation with me, my like kind of hierarchy of questions or conversations that I have is first, you know anyone who's thinking about selling a house? Okay. Have you seen any dumpsters? Like, can I get a listing out of this? Two, I got buyers. Do you want to sell your house? Can I bring my buyers in? Right? Okay. Three, then I just want to ask them some more questions, right? Do you own this house? Are you a renter? You know, if they answer, are you a renter? Then I'm going to go down the like, have you thought about home ownership? And they're going to say, rates are too high and things are too expensive. And I'm going to try to get a buyer consult with them, right? So I can set them up for home ownership. If they're like, you know, you can pry this house out of my cold dead fingers, right? I can be like, love that. That's so great. You might want to keep tabs on your home equity. And I know everyone loves seeing what their neighbors are up to. So I have this great market report. I'll send it out once a month. You can see what homes are selling for. Are you interested? And then I'm going to try to send them a market report. Anyone who is kind or polite, I'm going to bring them into Brivity as a contact. I'm gonna, because now I verified that their phone number is real. I know that they live there. And oftentimes I get an email address down here. Okay, so you come down. You guys know how to do this, right? This one's not a good one because it's entity owned. Bad example, Amy. But actually, that's where I was going to go next. So let's grab one that's owned by person. Okay, Scott owns this one. We're going to scroll on down here. Okay, Scott, we got three things here. We got an email address and we got a couple of phone numbers. Okay, so if I have called this person on the Mojo, I probably didn't call them because Mojo filtered out this do not call. So let's look at Carol. Dang, dude, everybody's on the do not call. Do you guys call do not call down in
Nope.
Texas, or do you
Nope.
ignore them? You don't?
No, too expensive to play
It's
that
too
game.
expensive. Is it? Guys, I'll tell you right now, I call do not call. Do you know why I do? I'm on the do not call, and do you know how many phone calls I get in a day? Sometimes 14 in an hour of spammers. So I'm willing to gamble on that, but you guys do you. Okay, so all these are on do not call. So a lot of these are going to get filtered out. So I will call them, but the Mojo dialer will filter these out. But so let's say I've got someone who isn't on the do not call because I've called them on the Mojo and they're kind, they're polite. I am going to bring them into Brivity because that's someone that I can nurture over time. They're going to be an unqualified, maybe they end up in a pond. But it's somebody that I want to follow up with because you never know when their moment's going to be right. Do you guys know what the number is? How many times you have to call someone before they're like, oh, hey, Amy, I need your help?
Isn't it like 5 to 8 or 5 to 12 times?
I think it's 18. I think it's 18, right? So, like, a lot of times we get discouraged after call one, three, five, or nine, but we really just have to keep going. And that's why we run our Brevity Day in the Life because then we can just like sort of forget about this person until they pop back up again. And then it's like, oh, hey, I haven't called you in 6 months. Let's just touch base and see if we can move this relationship forward a little bit. Lots of stuff changes in 6 months. One of the things that always comes up on the contest, on the production contest, is leads added to the database. You could do this through hosting open houses really easily. You could also do this through circle prospecting your neighborhood just like this, right? Who already lives in my neighborhood that I can build a relationship with and add them manually to the database during the contest. Now I have someone to follow up with. They might transact with me now. In 6 months, they might transact with me in 4 years. Okay. And then that's the last piece of how I would use Remine would be database cleanup. So who's ever gone through your pond and found a person that has an address with no name or phone number or email?
Always.
Okay, yeah, it's not just us who has the hideous database. Your guys' is perfect down there in Texas.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, so you can do this and you can go address lookup, right? So you could be like, okay, I have this address in my database that doesn't have a person's name on it, and I can go in here and I can be like, okay, look it. Here we go. Here's this address that's in my database. I got a person, I got a phone number, and I got an email. And now I can go and update my database in Brivity. So especially when you're looking at market report viewers, or I got a lot of these in ours that just have an address with no name or phone number. This is such a good way to clean that up and make sure you can call someone.
I've been putting probably more time than I should into this, but doing like backward searches like this because I'm looking for a lot of lake property right now and they're not owner occupied. So that the contact information is not associated with that address, but I can pull their tax address, search their tax address, and then I get contact information.
That's such a good move. Let's say you guys were looking for lake property. We reached out to the Remine and they're like, there's not really a good way to filter for that. But I could get in here and I could be like, all right, dude, I know you guys don't have a filter, but I'm a whiz with the polygon tool. Okay. And I could be like, I want only you guys that are in this area. Okay. Am I going to have some of these that are across the street from the lake? Maybe, yeah, right. Because I mean, I'm like definitely a whiz with the polygon tool, but I'm not like perfect with the polygon tool. Okay. You know what I'm saying? What's the likelihood that most of these properties are waterfront in here?
Probably
Pretty
80,
good.
90%. Yeah.
Pretty good, right? So now I can pull this list and I can go back in here again. All right, who's got a high self score on this list? Let's see, I can't. 17 of them. Okay. And I can call these people, hey guys, I got buyers looking for waterfront property. Okay. We can also do this non-owner occupant thing. Okay. I want an absentee owners. In our area, we got a lot of lake cabins. That's what people do up here. We call it up north, even if it's not to the north. If you have a cabin on a lake, you go up north for the weekend, okay? And a lot of people are buying these. So are they likely a non-owner occupant? Absolutely. Absolutely. So how many people buy a cabin and then realize that, okay, this is actually work. I got 2 lawns to mow. I got double property taxes. Every time I come up here, I gotta pick up sticks. I got 2 properties to insure. Maybe this cabin life ain't it for me, and I would like to sell it. Okay, so someone who doesn't occupy their cabin is probably more likely to sell it, right? You could be like ownership time. With a cabin property, I don't know if ownership time's it, right? Because some of those that have been owned forever get passed down in the family. So I might actually prefer to be like, okay, who's only owned this for a little bit? Because they might actually be over it. Okay. I can also look at who's got a high interest rate in here. Actually, none of these people do, right? Because they probably paid cash for them because it's a second home. Okay. I could look at in this example, probably not a ton of distressed. So just like you guys run these filters and play with it, I think at the end of the day, the best way to use this tool is to get in there and use it. Like that, like what is the worst that could happen? You talk to someone or you go to voicemail. Like that's really it. That's really it. Has this been helpful? Who's got additional questions? Great. I loved talking to muted faces. Thank you, everyone.
I don't have any questions, but I've never used any of this before, so it's like all brand new news to me. So I'm just like soaking it all in and ready to like try some of it out for myself, see if I find anything, any unique
I love
aspects.
that. Abby, what's step one to go from soaking it all in to getting into action?
Well, I have one, two, three. I have 4 different open houses lined up coming up. So I'm starting with what you said about open houses. And I'm gonna go in and do some like research on the areas because they're all kind of, we're in like the South DFW area. So, the cities kind of start melting together a little bit. And so
Yeah.
these are all kind of spaced out great where I think like the neighborhoods will start butting up to each other a little bit. And I might be able
Hmm.
to be like, oh, well, you can't make it to Fridays. Well, here's Saturdays. So I'm
So good.
yeah, I'm trying to put it all into motion on my
Okay, we
plan
don't
right
know
now.
each other. We don't know each other. So I'm going to ask you again. What is step one? I think that's the outcome you're after is circle
Yes,
prospecting your open houses. What is step one?
logging into Remine.
Oh my gosh, yes. Do you have it open in a tab?
No, because I have been having issues with it, so we're gonna figure out our issues today. So I
Do
guess
you
step one
guys
is
know how
figuring
to
out my
get to
issues.
Remine? Do you guys know how to get to, let me just, this, I feel like I shouldn't have to say, but I want you to, because like, if you haven't opened it before, hold on, I made our faces so, wait, am I still sharing? Now we're
Yeah.
huge. Okay. Okay, if you haven't opened Remine before, you're gonna be like, how do I get there? And I think the first time you might have to do a special sign up thing. Oh shoot, hold on, how do I log out? I don't want to try to log out. Did you guys see what I did there? You just go to your waffle up here in Brivity, and here's all your pretty little toys. Okay, so you literally just hit Remind. The first time you do it, you're gonna have to 2-factor auth, and it's gonna email you this stupid thing, and then you have to type in the dumb code. So step one, you guys always please open it in a tab. The other thing is, it's a mobile app now. So if you don't have Remind mobile app, please open up your phone and go to the App Store and type in Remind and get that sucker downloaded. Okay, awesome. So good. You can use the mobile app when you're driving around, which would
Dude,
be
use
the
the mobile
other
app
great
at
thing to
open
do.
house. Are you seeing
Yeah,
that
I
open?
agree.
Like pulling it up. People love to kind of see what's around. It's a good time.
And when you're driving around and you happen to see a dumpster in a driveway, what should you do?
Pop that address in your Remine app and give them a ring, or just stop by. Actually, door knock.
You should pull over, for number one. You should open up Remind mobile app. You should do the little geotag thing or the crosshairs that zooms it into wherever your location is. And now you click on that parcel so we know the person's name. Okay, now we go knock on the door. Hey, Amanda, I was just driving by. I noticed you had a dumpster in your driveway. Are you thinking about moving? And they're going to be like, who are you exactly? And you're going to be like, hey, dude, I'm just a local real estate agent. Actually, I live in the neighborhood. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. Right? And then from Remine, I know you guys have seen this. Inked is in there. You can click right there. One click, you send them an inked card. Have you guys done the inked thing? Okay, I did my 50 freebies and I haven't done it since. Okay, but you can go inked right there, pick a cute card. Hey, Amanda, I was just driving by. I saw you had a dumpster in your driveway. I live down the street. I think you might be selling or remodeling. Maybe, have you thought about refi? Do you want to know what your home's worth? Here's my phone number. That's it. Or here's a QR code. You can put a little QR code in there, write in inked too, and hit send. Okay, so don't get so caught up in how to do it perfect. I love exactly what you're saying, Abby. I got it open in a tab. I've got some open houses. Let me just start with a circle prospect. I think that's perfect. Okay. Awesome. Okay, we wrap up at 9:30, but I would love to hear quickly from a handful of you what pearl of wisdom or little nugget did you gather today, or which one thing are you excited to go try out? And you can't say, I'm just excited to play with Remine.
I've hopped in there to like look around and use different filters and everything, but for some reason it didn't occur to me to use it as like a data lookup because we use like been verified and forewarned. So I might start using that as like an additional option to go in there and find owner information.
Such a good way to do it. Love it. Thanks, Michaela. Anybody else
I
got
liked
pearl?
being
Oh, good.
reminded of what the difference is in like land voice and Remine and reminding that they pull from different databases and to use them both.
Mm-hmm. So good. Great one. Let's get like two more and then I'll set you all free for the day.
For me, it's using the area that you're in and how you should apply specific filters to certain scenarios where it's not like one size fits all, where you're just because in land voice you're just here's everything, where it's like you can really drill down. So you have to be clear on what you're drilling for to get you some good contacts.
Mm-hmm. I think that's so good. We
I've
got one more.
I've never used it for the like 0 to 5 years ownership for the entry level market areas. So that's an interesting way to look at it too.
Awesome. Love that. Thanks, Jeff. Those of you who don't know us, I just dropped my phone number in the chat. That's my personal cell, not my Brivity number. So please send me a voice memo if you have thoughts or questions, or if you have buyers or sellers who want to get a cabin up north on the lake. We'd love to help your people. And certainly if we have people down in the Dallas area, we'd love to send them your way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. We really appreciate it.
Of course, I'm here to help. If you guys ever need anything, give me a call, shoot me a text. We'll see you in California.
Thank you, Amy.
Bye.